Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of my combo fans out there. It's me, your captain speaking, and if you give me just one moment, I'm going to make sure that you and everybody else that you know and love knows that this stream is going on. So keep your arms, legs, and other appendages inside the vehicle as we rocket down this crazy cascading river. I'll be right back. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It's Thursday night, so you know that it's going to be me sitting behind this captain's chair. Come on, that was such a layup, and I just missed it. Okay, welcome. We're going to be playing Mississippi River. Pretty terrible deck name. We're going to call it Creative Technique, okay? We're just going to try to work our way into Creative Technique as the lingo, as opposed to fairly insular and exclusive deck name. However, welcome to the Legacy stream Creative Technique. This is a deck that, man, we're going to get into the naming because there are already people asking about the deck. Okay, so Jason, this was originally called Mississippi River because what do rivers do? They cascade, and Mississippi River is the largest river in the North American continent, or at the very least in the United States. I won't speak for Canada or Mexico or any of the Central Americas, but it cascades like a river does. So that's the idea. However, unless you know that joke and you're on the inside of that joke, then you don't understand it. So we're going to be calling it Creative Technique, which is a descriptive name to let you know that we are playing the card Creative Technique. So we're going to first read this wild card, okay? I've got the deck laid out in front of me, and we're going to just piece by piece, all right? So Creative Technique is a 5 mana 4 and a red sorcery. It has Demonstrate. So whenever I cast this spell, I can copy it, and if I do, choose an opponent, it's going to be the one opponent, to also copy it. So I can copy it, but my opponent also gets a copy. So 3 creative techniques, 2 of which I own, 1 of which my opponents own. So shuffle my library, or my opponents. Shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top of it until you reveal a non-land card. Exile that card and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's kind of like Cascade. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So, this is a 5 mana spell that functions very similarly to Cascade, but you don't have to hit a spell that costs less than it. Big thing here. So it's going to cascade into whatever we want. And in fact, there's no other 5-drop in the deck. There's only cards that cost more than 5. So we actually have a giant pile of them right here. There's 18 spells that are going to be able to be creative technique cascaded into. There are several 6-mana cascaders. There's a couple of 8-mana cascaders, and then there's a 10-mana cascader. Okay, so let's go back to front. This Apex Devastator. This has, it's a creature, Chimera Hydra. The cost doesn't really matter, just that it casts, or it costs more than 5, right? It has Cascade, 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 Cascade. Okay, this is gonna be wild. The rest of them, Maelstrom Wanderer, Cascade, Cascade. This also has a really fun little bit of text. Creatures you control have haste. That'll come up later. And then we have, how many is this? 11 6-mana cascaders. Okay, 6 mana. It has a bunch of text on it, but it has Cascade. Okay, Sakashina's Protege. It has a bunch of text on it, but it has Cascade. Aurora Phoenix. It has a bunch of text on it, but it has Cascade. Same with Boarding Party. It has a bunch of text on it, but it has Cascade. So the idea is that we're going to be hitting one of these spells with creative technique. And when we cast it, we're going to cascade into another card, and it either has Cascade itself. If we like cascade into one of these, we can hit one of the 6-mana ones, or we cascade into another creative technique. Okay, and if we keep this going, we'll end up with a bunch of really awesome creatures and an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn that's cast. Creative technique allows us to cast the exiled card. That means we get Emrakul the Aeon's Torn's cast ability. When you cast this spell, take an extra turn after this one, which means we're going to have a 15/15 with Annihilator 6, flying protection from spells that are 1 or more colors, and just an incredible beater in addition to all of this stuff. But if we get Maelstrom Wanderer on the battlefield first, then creatures we control have haste. Well, like, they don't need to be, one doesn't need to show up before the other. But if we get them at the same time, then we have a hasty Emrakul. And that's going to be really sweet because we attack for 15, Annihilator 6, and then we get our next turn because, again, the Emrakul was cast, and then we can again attack for 15, Annihilator 6, in addition to any of the other creatures that we were just cascading into. So, we don't have Force of Will. We don't have cantrips. We don't have any of that. We don't have a lot of the things that a normal Magic deck has, and we're going to just be using lands that tap for 2. That's it. That's the deal. We also have some Ottawaras because, like, who was it? Alex was talking about in the comments, Teferi is a big deal. We cannot do anything when Teferi Time Raveler is on the battlefield. So we have a bunch of lands that tap for 2. Sacrifice Tinder Farm, add red, white, remove a depletion counter from Sapper Zinskeri, add blue, blue. We have the classics of City of Tombs and City of Traders and Ancient Tomb, Crystal Vein, Dwarven Ruins, the red one. These are well known. These are old lands that just tap, sacrifice for 2, and we're good to go. Out of the sideboard, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, we have a little bit of a quicker combo. Tybalt's Trickery and Throes of Chaos can happen 1 mana quicker. If we Throes of Chaos into Tybalt's Trickery, then we can start the process really quickly. As long as we don't Tybalt's Trickery into another Tybalt's Trickery. But yeah, Jason, 38 lands. We really just need to get to 5 mana or 6 mana, and as long as we cast one spell, as long as we cast one Cascade spell, this whole chain starts rolling. If we cast a boarding party, it's going to cascade into a creative technique and we can start going off. If we cast a Sweet Gum Recluse, which is a great name, by the way, Trypophobia fans, just trigger warning, by the way, we're going to start and get a creative technique and we're going to get the ball rolling. So this is all about getting the mana that we need. Turn 3, 6 mana, we're going to go off, right? That's the deal. And before then, we've just got to make sure that we survive. We've got Auto Aura, we've just got a bunch of things that are going to be twiddling our thumbs until turn 3. So without much further ado, I'm going to get started in a league match, and we're going to listen to a sponsor for an awesome sponsor of the channel, Moxfield. You can actually check the Moxfield link in the video description for the deck list, and we're going to get started right away.
Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks.
Alrighty, we are waiting for our opponent, but let's take a look at this deck again. And it's just an absolute brand new deck in Magic Online. This used to be a deck that you could only play in paper. Creative Technique, I think, was from, you know what, I actually don't remember what set this was from. But it was a paper-only release because Magic Online hadn't actually released the cards right away. So we weren't able to play it until a Daybreak Games MTGO update a couple of weeks ago, where they put Creative Technique online finally. So we're actually able to play it. If you have seen some Legacy coverage of things, then you've watched maybe this deck really go off. But we're going to try to do that now in round 1. And Commander 21. Thank you, Bryant. Yes, that's when this was released. I would like to play first. Yes, that sounds like a great spot. Okay, so this is a little awkward. This is one of the few times that I think that I want to mulligan. I know that we have 38 lands and we're likely to draw them. Maybe this is just fine. We have the Creative Technique. We don't have a red source for it, but and the City of Traders is a little awkward. You know what? I think I'm actually going to mulligan this. This is a hand that doesn't quite get there. Take that mulligan. This is much better. So we have 2 Creative Techniques. We have a red source. We have all of the requisite mana that we need. And we're going to keep this, and we're going to put a Saprison Scary on the bottom. Okay. And we're going to start off with Ancient Tomb, kind of bury the lead a little bit. Yeah, Alex, you got that. Alex with the Ancient Tomb start. So sequencing the lands like this kind of, again, buries the lead. My opponent might think that I'm some kind of stompy deck as opposed to a combo deck. Bayou, Elvish Reclaimer. So this might be Depths, which is fine. And then this Sandstone Needle is going to let our opponent know exactly what we're doing. No other deck in Legacy right now plays these depletion lands or the sack lands like this. So we are, in fact, Creative Technique. Flagstones of Trokir, Crop Rotation. I wonder if this is going to be a Wasteland. So they got the Savannah from the Flagstones trigger, and then Crop Rotation, probably a Wasteland. There it is. And they take the red source. We have another one. We actually drew another red source, which is great. So they did get to time walk us. Seems pretty good. Wasteland is a really good, powerful card against this deck. And they have tutorable Wastelands, so we'll see how they go. How many of them we can beat. Oh yeah, Ruby Storm does that, doesn't it? Okay. How are my microphone levels, by the way? I had a little bit of an adjustment last week, and they weren't quite up to snuff. Microphone levels good compared to music. Everything is nicely balanced and everything. I hope so. Okay, thank you. Aw. Lord of the Rings plains. It's the Shire. I love that. Okay. So, they didn't have a wasteland, and that means that we get to do the thing. So let's play the City of Traders, sack, and creative technique. I want to demonstrate. They're not going to really hit anything that's going to be a problem, so this is going to allow me to... I don't think that they're going to hit anything. Green Sun Zenith. They can get Dryad Arbor. Sure thing. Okay. Maelstrom Wanderer. We're off to a very good start. So we have a couple of Cascades, and it's going to be another creative technique. And I am going to demonstrate again, just because I think that we can really just, I don't know, lay down the law as it works. Sphere of Resistance is the worst hit. This is not going to be lands. This is Maverick. This is Dark Maverick. If this was lands, then I would be a little bit more considerate of Sphere. But they hit another Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, Sakashima's Protege, which is good because it's going to cascade into another creative technique. And sure, let's just demonstrate it one more time. Maverick, yeah, that's another weird deck name, isn't it? So it's a green, white X, typically black, deck that will... okay, another creative technique. Yeah, lands with more critters. Okay, Maelstrom Wanderer, Boarding Party. Cool. Our opponent has conceded. Abzan Depths. Oh, because of the Elvish Reclaimer. That kind of makes sense. Yes, Bryant. So with that in mind, Caracas is a pretty good option here. Fury, they might have some problematic permanents, but Wasteland is the card that I really care about from them. And I could go for the Throes of Chaos Tibalt Trickery deck, kind of not juke, but upgrade, a speed upgrade. But I think that I'm fine with just boarding in Caracas. And we can probably just cut 2 other lands. I would like to keep all of the Cascaders in the deck. And let's see. City of Traders, maybe? I think I want the Ottawaras, except maybe I can shave on Ottawara because I'm bringing in Caracas. They function similarly? Not exactly. And let's just cut another City of Traders and bring in the Caracases. Caracases? Caracases. I know. Okay. And here we've got a Boarding Party. We've got a red land. And I think that we're good to go. So this is starting off with Sappers and Scary, and then Sulfur Vents, and then City of Traders. That gets us our 6 mana to Boarding Party right away. So we're going to keep this. And our opponent essentially just has... Oh, they're mulliganing to 4? You know, they could actually have something like a Deafening Silence. That's not as big a deal because all of these are creatures. just the creative technique. And if we can demonstrate it, that's not actually casting the spell, that's copying it. So we can actually get 2 copies of creative technique and try to go off that way. Isn't it always wrong to cut the soul lands? I don't know. This is my first time playing the deck. If you think that it's wrong to cut the soul lands, I am more than happy to be told that that was an improper board plan. I have no idea. We also have Ottawa. Yes, for the deafening silence, problematic permanent kind of a thing. Okay. They have a Windswept Heath. And another red source. That was good. We only had 1 red source, so I was a little worried about Wasteland, but you know, our opponent has 4 actual Wastelands and 4 crop rotation, 4 copies of Knight of the Reliquary, 4 copies of Elvish Reclaimer. They've got a lot of ways to get the Wasteland going. Sandstone Needle. Okay. Let's actually play Tinder Farm. What are we doing here? Is this a Bowmasters? I don't know. Why the farm over the Needle? I think that Needle is more important, and I'm kind of expecting a Wasteland, and at the moment, Tinder Farm and Sandstone Needle are not going to do anything different for boarding party. So, Thespian Stage. What are we doing? 3 mana. Green Sun Zenith for 2. Okay. What do you got for 2 mana that's green? Gaddock Teague. Yeah, that'll do it. I have the answer, but it's going to take a little bit. Okay, there's an Emrakul. I would rather that be in my deck, but that's fine. So with this, I can... Luckily, the blue is a depletion land, so I actually have the opportunity to refire this. So let's actually go with this. In their end step, I can bounce the Gaddock Teague, and yeah, Ottawa is great. I don't know why I cut it. Did I cut it? I did not cut it. Okay, good, good, good. I thought that I cut 1, and I was really going to be disappointed with myself. Another lovely Plains from the Shire. I'm really glad that it's a Plains and not a Wasteland here. Okay, how about we Ottawa your Gaddock Teague. Okay, cool. And now we can untap and... Okay, we have the creative technique right away. So let's do that. Do I demonstrate it? I think yes. I think that I'm gonna have to say yes. We already have 1 Emrakul. Okay, they have a Green Sun Zenith. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna demonstrate again, but we are at least gonna... Oh, another creative technique. Okay, so that's 2 gone. Do we feel lucky? Are we gonna demonstrate this one more time? Yeah, it wasn't super great, but I think I'm gonna demonstrate it again. They got a crop rotation. Okay, so this is likely gonna get a Caracas. Because we're gonna be attacking with an Emrakul, but if we just have a bunch of... Yeah, Apex Devastator. This was the perfect hit. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We're going to always yield to these Cascade triggers. And then Creative Technique. Yeah, nice thing about Apex Devastator, it is not legendary. And we're going to say no to this demonstrate ability. Sweet gum. Creative technique. Okay. Yes. Oh, I didn't mean to say yes. I meant to say no. Oh well. That was my fault. Okay, they hit a deafening silence. Oh my gosh. Okay, that doesn't matter. We've already cast all of the spells. Okay, here's a Maelstrom Wanderer. That was really unfortunate. I should have clicked no, but these are all creatures, so we're fine. We've already cast all of the creative techniques, so we're just gonna get a bunch of creatures. Okay, and then there's the Maelstrom Wanderer. And then Creative Technique hits a Sweet Gum Recluse. Okay. Sweet Gum Recluse enters the battlefield, and we get any number of target creatures, and we get to put 3 +1/+1 counters on them, which is incredible. It is a nice little thing. And we get Sweet Gum Recluse again, and we get 3 +1/+1 counters on everything else, which is nice. And then we have Aurora Phoenix, and then another Maelstrom Wanderer, Boarding Party. Our entire Cascade creatures are going to be on the battlefield, essentially. So there's another Aurora Phoenix. Yeah, my opponent has conceded. So we don't just win because the Maelstrom Wanderer can get bounced. However, the idea is that once this happens and we go through all of this, this Maelstrom Wanderer will hit the battlefield. I will actually choose to sacrifice that one because this one has counters on it. And we have 2 other Cascades, and then an Apex Devastator, and then 2 other creative techniques. And by that time, the Cascade creatures should be gone from the deck, and one of these creative techniques are going to hit the last remaining Emrakul. And we're going to cast it, gain an extra turn, and we have a giant army. So yeah, that was pretty great. So starting off strong, haven't lost a single game, and yeah, we probably still find Emrakul. So count it right there. There, we're 1-0 to start off, and we're going to start finding our next opponent while you learn a little bit about our awesome token pack. If you need to keep track of Storm for some reason, I don't know why, you can use it.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
And we are indeed back. Well, we are waiting on our second opponent, but let's talk about this deck and some of its weaknesses. A lot of the weaknesses are not things that are typically good against combo decks, right? Force of Will, not at its greatest here. We can demonstrate a creative technique and get 2 copies of it. So they happen to have, if they happen to have 2 Force of Wills or other counters in their hand, how much mana of each token? Let me find that out. I've got my token pack right here. But you can play around counter magic fairly easily. The thing that you can't play around is permanence as well. You know, we did beat that Gaddock, but that Gaddock was a perfect answer to what we were doing. Great ape, and we won the die roll. This is another die roll win. Okay, let's play. We have 6 mana and a boarding party. Let's do it. And the requisite red mana, I should say. So unfortunately, we can't try to hide what we're doing. We have to play out the Tinder farm right away. Our opponent knows exactly what's going on. Yeah, Bryant with the links. That's great. He was right on there. Okay. Now, just gonna F6 through my opponent's turn. I can't really do anything about this. Ah, Death and Taxes. 60 card Death and Taxes? Okay. Another Wasteland deck. But we'll see how that goes for our opponent. Overwatch. I'm really glad that you think so. I think so. I use them whenever I'm playing, even at a local level. If I'm just going to like F&M and playing some Legacy, still very, very helpful. Not to mention the fact that it is the best way to actually interact with competitive events on a Storm level or any kind of tracking. If you're playing competitive EDH, wonderful. It's a very good way to do that as well. Okay, so our opponent did a nothing play, and we get to boarding party and do our thing instead. So boarding party cascades into creative technique. Oh my gosh, who would have thought? Now, here's the thing. They can demonstrate into a Thalia. And they also have things like Swords to Plowshares and Solitude. This is going to be something that I need to weigh when I'm thinking about demonstrating. I'm going to demonstrate because I think that we need to. Just the first one. And our opponent gets a Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Yeah, the Aethersworn Canonist. That typically is in the sideboard, right? Maybe they play that in the main. I'm not sure. And they get a Cauldron complete. Okay. Creative Technique gets an Aurora Phoenix. You always yield to that Cascade. And we get another Creative Technique. I'm going to say no to this one now. And we get a Maelstrom Wanderer. That was a great hit. Okay. Now we get a Sweet Gum, which is going to Cascade. Oh, I should have always yielded that. Okay, my opponent has conceded. That's great. We dodged the problematic getting Thalia'd, and it's great. Okay, so some things that beat this deck, problematic permanents like Thalia, right? We're going to bring these Caracases in, and these Furies. I don't think that we need to go any quicker. This isn't a combo deck, right? However, we are going to appropriately... We can take out maybe a Sakashima's Protege. And I don't know how to board. All of this seems so vital, but maybe I can take out the... okay, so boarding party has Haste. Aurora Phoenix is flying, but it's harder to cast. I'm going to take out the Aurora Phoenix. The green Cascade and some green lands. Ah, okay. Yeah, that seems a little bit more Win-Mori-ish. And then we can take out the Hickory Woodlots, which are the green ones. But those are the depletion lands, right? Tinder Farm. No, that's a red source. And then, yeah. Okay, so I guess it's the Hickory Woodlot. And maybe a couple of... Well... Yeah, maybe a couple of Aurora Phoenixes. And then we get this. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what that looks like. I don't know. This was just a 5-0 list. I have very little input as far as the Sweet Gum. I think that if we comboed and... Oh, you meant Spider. Okay, well, we can do that. I was thinking that if we actually combo and don't finish going off, then we can beat the board with the Sweet Gum, but... Yeah, the Pitch to Fury is nice, isn't it? Okay, so we have boarding party. We have Ottawara and a blue land. But it's a sack land. That's fine. We've got the boarding party and an answer to a problematic permanent like Thalia or Deafening Silence. I think this is as good as it gets for now. We can obviously mulligan aggressively to a Fury, but I think that that's a little bit more prone to failure. So we're going to keep this hand. Aether Vial. Better one drop than I was expecting them to have. Caracas. Okay. Well, that's our answer to Thalia. Now we have to dodge Wasteland, and there's the Thalia. We've got that answered. I think what I'm going to do is play out the Sulfur Vent, and then, yeah, I know, mono basic planes. It is pretty nice. It'll get a little bit more difficult, I'm sure. What I'm going to do next is play out the Caracas, and... well, actually, should I play out the Caracas? I don't think that I should. Sanctum Prelate. That's an Ottawara target, if I've ever seen one. Okay. This is getting a little tough, for what it's worth. I would like to draw a Fury. Ancient Tomb is good. Okay. So Ancient Tomb allows me to Ottawara the Sanctum Prelate. And I get that they can Vial. This is kind of tricky because anything that I bounce back to their hand, Caracas the Thalia, Ottawara the Sanctum Prelate, depending on how they Vial it, yeah, let's just pass the turn. I think that we can't do anything right now. And there goes the 3. Okay, so they can no longer Vial in Thalia if I Caracas. I want to do everything in one turn. That makes sense. Okay. Well, we've got the mana to do it. Whether we have enough time or not, I guess we'll find out. Stoneforge Mystic. Speaking of time that we may or may not have. Fury. I think that's a pretty good draw. Do you think that's a pretty good draw? I think that's a pretty good draw. Okay. So, because of that, we can just Fury pitch the Maelstrom Wanderer. Can we Maelstrom Wanderer? No, we don't have green. Okay. We don't have enough mana either, but that's fine. So let's Fury. Cast the Maelstrom, or exile the Maelstrom Wanderer. No, this is non-creature. So this is going to be a potential... Oh, Flicker Wisp did not happen. Okay. So let's boarding party. Okay, and we're going to maintain all of our lands for what it's worth. I think that that's important here. And we have a Fury, which, you know, was a potential problem here. But, okay. Now we have a 6/6, or a 6/3, and a 3/3 double strike. So I think that I'm pretty okay with this. And this clocks in immediately. Okay. And then next turn, do we have the ability to... Okay, so this is Temur, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can Maelstrom Wanderer next turn on the hard cast. So, I think that we're doing pretty good. Pretty good indeed. They have 5 mana. I don't think that that's something that they want. Batter Skull. That might be something that they want. Okay. So green, blue, red, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that I don't have to play my City of Traders just yet. So green, blue, red, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Look at that. And all of these have haste, and they're all going to cascade and gets the party started. Okay, we're not going to demonstrate, by the way. Another Phoenix. All of these have haste. Creative technique. No demonstrate. And we reveal another creative technique. Okay, that's not as great, but let's do this again. Another creative technique. Wow. Okay, that was not as great, but that's fine. Now we're just gonna hit Furies, by the way. So now that that's all out of the way, I guess that is something that's really good about this. Okay. And then another Phoenix, which means we have another Fury coming in. Okay, no targets. And then Phoenix, and then the Maelstrom Wanderer, and then they all have haste. Oh my gosh. How much damage is this? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Oh, what? Oh, opponent was there all the way until we were gonna deal all of the damage. That's okay. I think that made up for it. The fact that we just straight up destroyed them. Hard casting Maelstrom Wanderer. This used to see only commander play. Maybe there was a deck here or there that played it in Legacy, 10 years ago, but now it's just a staple of the format. Okay, we haven't lost a single one yet. Let's keep it rolling. If you like this content and you want to support it in any way, then you can think about becoming a YouTube member. Y'all need to actually be a little bit more active with these emotes, but you can actually hear about some of the extra benefits in addition to really cool live stream emotes that you get access to by becoming a member. There's a few tiers. Let Bryant tell you about it.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic.
It is indeed time to combo. We are paired up against Leviathan 02, which, oops, wrong button. They're known for playing something, and I cannot remember what it is, unfortunately. Okay, well, we've got all of the double mana lands for the double colored spells that we have in our hand. We're going to keep this. So we can start off on Hickory Woodlot and then Dwarven Ruins, and then we have the Crystal Veins, and we are off to the races. I think that that's a phrase that's like perfectly sums this deck up. We're off to the races because we do nothing, and then the start gun fires, and we are just gone. I guess like a cascading river. Okay, we're against a blue deck now. And there's a boarding party, so we can play around days. I don't think that we need to necessarily worry about that, but we will play around days whenever possible. High Tide versus Creative Technique. It would be an interesting matchup, that's for sure. Both decks are going to just wait to go off on turn 3. I think that Creative Technique wins that most of the time. Okay, Sandstone Needle. I like the depletion lands instead of the other lands because, no. Dwarven Ruins is better. That's right. It's the other way around. The depletion lands are moderately worse because they don't actually tap for a mana on their own. Although at that point we're just splitting hairs. I'm going to sack all of them and I'm going to create 6 mana. So, an Underground Sea deck. Are we cycling a Troll of Khazad-dûm? Yes, we are. Okay. Got another Underground Sea. This is the Dimir Tempo deck. Reanimate. Sounds good. Your 6/5 is not going to cut it. This is not Doomsday. This is Dimir Tempo, if you want to call it that. Okay. Let's play around Days by casting this Boarding Party. No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't play around Days. I thought that this was Creative Technique for some reason. I am going to demonstrate this because they could have forces. And they have a Troll of Khazad-dûm of their own that they get to cast. Okay. And then we have an Aurora Phoenix. Okay. And then Cascade. Doing the thing. Creative Technique. We're going to also demonstrate this one. I think we're pretty free to demonstrate all of these. Brazen Borrower. Okay. That's fine. Good to know about. And then another Creative Technique. Gonna demonstrate it. Let's hit some big Cascaders. Drown in the Lock. We have 2 cards in our graveyard. That's not gonna do much. Aurora Phoenix. Okay. More Cascaders. Another Creative Technique. We are going to demonstrate it. This is all of the Creative Techniques for what it's worth. Boarding Party is better because it has haste. Yes. We don't necessarily need... Oh, there's the Days. Look at that. Wish we could play around it. Maelstrom Wanderer. Okay. I think that we've got this one. Okay, Boarding Party. I would like to hit the Apex Devastator, but they're just going to be done. Okay, excellent. Very, very large stack. This is actually pretty, small. They get fairly large fairly quickly. Okay, so this is not a combo deck, so I don't need the Tybalt's Trickery Throes of Chaos. They're just a fair blue deck, but I do like the Besejus. The Besejus can protect our Creative Techniques. They're a Wasteland deck as well, but I don't think that that's much of a problem. What kind of problematic permanents are they going to have? It's not a Flusterstorm. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think that Otawara is going to have any kind of real text in this. The problematic permanents that they have are Orcish Bowmasters, which doesn't affect this deck at all, or Dothy Voidwalker, which doesn't affect this deck at all. So I think that that's just going to be an easy peasy swap. Yeah, I think that that's going to be it. So let's see how things go. We've got a bunch of lands and a bunch of Cascade spells. I think we're going to be good. And we have enough lands to play around Wasteland at the very beginning and enough cards in hand to play around something like a... discard spell. But I probably should have brought in the Throes of Chaos to play around Surgical Extraction. Discarding a creative technique and surgicaling it is a very viable route to victory at this point for our opponent. So, unfortunately, I don't have any out to surgical, and they are likely playing quite a few. Okay, well, they just ran the Wasteland out. They know that I have to just play into it. And they have an Underground Sea right away. We don't have it in hand, but if we draw it, this is going to be something that I want to think about when... no, there. Okay. If they have a second or a third game, if they force the decider, then we don't want to leave ourselves open to that. Okay, they take the Aurora Phoenix, they play the Underground Sea, they reanimate the Grief. Okay. I wonder what they're taking. Just the red cards? Okay. Well, I'll play the Hickory Woodlot, and they're going to think that that's the one that they need to Wasteland. But here's the kicker. I just drew another one. So they're going to Wasteland my green thinking, oh no, they can't play Sweet Gum Recluse anymore. I got them. Lo and behold. Yeah, Trent, that is true. Oh, they are going to bash in for 9. Okay. Yep, that's fine. And then they Wasteland the green. How about this? Can I actually win here? I need to draw a City of Traders. Oh no. Yeah, because they're gonna hit me for 9. I'm gonna go to 2, and I can't tap my Ancient Tomb. Okay. Well, it's not gonna matter anyway. They really did just tempo the game out. They had Grief Reanimate, and then they had the Reanimate for the boarding party. So yeah, Reanimate is a good card at turning the game around. But you know what? There we go. How about that? They did play that very well. Wow, that was excellent from our opponent. Okay, so here's these 6 cards. Now I don't know if bringing these 6 cards in, we need to like shave on creative techniques. That seems unlikely, right? We can probably cut the Apex Devastator and maybe the Sweet Gum Recluses, Sakashima's Protege. We don't need to like completely go off to combo. And if we're doing that, do we shave like a couple of the Hickory Woodlots? Is that how we're gonna do that? Yeah. Just all of the green lands and like keep in the Sakashima's Protege and the Apex Devastator. Yeah, okay. Never cut Devastator. It is such a good card, isn't it? Okay. Well, let's try this out. Okay. Now we are not completely dead to Surgical Extraction, and we would like to play first. How... This is a bunch of red mana. If we draw the Sakashima's Protege, then we're kind of SOL. But other than that, I think that this is a fine keep, right? Oh, this is a mulligan, Alex? Okay. Why is that a mulligan? Help me learn here. Because, like, they can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck, right? This is my thinking, and I don't know if that's necessarily good thinking, but we are available to like play around Thoughtseize and discard like that by just playing lands and playing into the wastelands that they have available. Well, I'm not going to cast the Maelstrom Wanderer. That's not the idea. The idea is to just wait until I draw a 6-mana Cascader. At least that's my thinking. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this because, like, okay, the Maelstrom Wanderer gets discarded. It doesn't matter. The idea is that I can just wait to top deck something that actually matters, and it's protected from discard because it's on top of my hand, or my deck. Okay. So I guess Tinder Farm is the worst land out of the bunch. Let's see what happens now. If I find Theros, you're always protected. Yeah, it's true. Okay. Oh, just a swamp and a pass. Okay, so this is a troll, potentially. Saprison Scary. I'll take the Sulfur Vents. Thank you very much. Now, we have, you know, however many offers, or top decks that we have access to. There's a few bad ones, but not very many. Underground Sea, so they're not wastelanding us. It's kind of surprising. Yeah, Trent, that is one of the issues. Like, I mean, more than half of the deck is lands. I understood that when I was making this mulligan decision. But they're not clocking us. Oh, they're playing Sauron's Ransom. That's a fun card that I want to actually play, but I'll have to do that in my own time because there's no combo deck that's playing Sauron's Ransom right now. But yeah, we're protected from discard. Our hand is entirely lands. If they have more discard... Oh! Well... You know, they have a 7/5. Okay, so we have another turn. That's fine. We don't have blue. We drew the one card that's gonna punish that. Oh well. You know, this is actually fine. This is not the worst one that they could have hit. Next turn we can go for it. You like Ransom because it feels much worse now that Instant Speed Divination was... Oh, yeah. Instant Speed Divination is kind of nice, isn't it? Okay. Look at this. Tybalt's Trickery. Well, I can do this with counter spell backup. That's kind of neat. I hope I get a counter something. I just need to make sure that this actually... Oh, okay. Well, we hit Tybalt's Trickery here. That's fine. They have a Force of Will. We have a Tybalt's Trickery. And we're going to hit the Tybalt's Trickery, right? Counter target spell. And if we Trickery our own Trickery, then we can guarantee to not hit the third Trickery. Force of Negation. Okay. So that is unfortunate. I think that we're going to lose this one now. That's pretty good. Oh, you know what? Those resolved in such a way that it looks like they were actually countering the Sakashima's protege. They had the other counterspell, but I think I just missed that. Okay, so we did lose one. That's too bad. I was really feeling that one, but it's okay. I think that we made some pretty good decisions on that mulligan. It didn't really pay out well in the end. Maybe we don't need to board in the Tybalt's Trickery Throes of Chaos, but I think that decision was also pretty important in our game plan. But, yeah, oh well. So, while we're waiting for our 4th round opponent, if you are watching this on YouTube, or if you guys actually watching live right now want to check in on it later, there's going to be a pinned comment down below, and it's going to have a couple of links for TCG Player and Card Hoarder. And you can click on those links and it'll auto-populate your cart with one of those websites so that you can rent the deck or buy the deck in paper and play it yourself. And Card Hoarder, sponsor of this channel, is going to be the next ad because they're an awesome sponsor and an awesome service that you should check out.
With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist.
Alrighty, well, we are waiting for our opponent, but this has been a fun league, right? I think that while not the greatest thing since sliced bread, this deck is a powerful enough deck that it's going to have viability and legacy, right? It caves to Teferi Time Raveler. It can't beat a Mindbreak Trap. It can't beat a Thalia, right? Deafening Silence is tough, but beatable. Multiple, like 2 Force of Wills are not beatable. And this is not the end-all be-all, but it is a very powerful combo deck that, can be fun to play. It has problems with discard and surgical, and it's got weaknesses that can be exploited. Oh man, when it goes off big, doesn't it? So, yeah, Greg, that Thoughtseize into surgical is a problem. We have a sideboard plan to address that if we're thinking about it, which we were in game 3, or going into game 3, I suppose. So, pluses and minuses to this combo deck. It is not my... this is being streamed somewhere that isn't YouTube. No, this is just YouTube. But I'm just saying that the pinned comment isn't there for you right now. Quasarain? Yeah. It's not there for you yet. But once it's on YouTube, I'll comment on it and pin the comment so that everybody can see it. Just streaming to YouTube though. That's the only platform that we're gonna stick to for now. I think that Bryant had streamed in the past on Twitch. That never really went anywhere. But yeah. Oh, we've got ourselves a little friend of the stream for round number 4. Say hi, Angus, to our opponent offhand. Okay. It's a little bit more affordable as a deck. We are going to keep this hand, by the way. I mean, you are still playing for City of Traders, and that's a couple $100, but it's not the worst it's ever been, right? I mean, nobody plays Tinder Farm, and all of the Cascade spells are next to nothing. Prismatic Vista. Okay. Do we have Orzhov Taxes, or is this going to be a fair blue deck? Cheaper than 4 Volcanic Islands. You are right about that one. City expensive on MTGO? No. All of this was about 400 tickets on MTGO. It's gotten cheaper as Creative Technique has lowered in price. The first couple of weeks, they were very expensive, which is why you may have noticed that I wasn't actually putting that on the polls Thursday mornings, or whatever time zone y'all are in. But yeah, it was a little bit too expensive for my blood. So now that it's toned down a little bit, we recognize that it's not the broken metagame destroyer that people feared that it was. And honestly, it almost is never a broken metagame destroyer, right? People get a little overhyped, overzealous about things. That's okay. Alrighty, so let's see. We're just going to be playing the game. Fair blue confirmed. What variation of fair blue? I don't know. Whether this is Stoneblade or Miracles or missing a third land drop. Okay. Orcish Bowmasters is format warping. Warping? Maybe. It is certainly causing the format to adjust. That's for sure. So we are going to use this ability. Prismatic Ending. Well, turns out that's pretty hard to cast. Well, you can cast it, but there's no targets, and it's just going to be 0. So we get 2. We get a boarding party. 2 creative techniques, excuse me. So this is going to be another creative technique. And we're going to demonstrate this one as well. Oh no. You know what? I should not be demonstrating this. I should definitely be playing around Teferi Time Raveler. I got lucky so far. Hey, how about that? How about just casting an Emrakul? That seems pretty okay, right? I really should have not demonstrated that second one. Maybe not even the first. Probably the first one. I should demonstrate the first one, but not the second one. Because the first one plays around counter magic, and the second one then plays around Teferi. Trying to type fast enough for the surgical line, Greg. Yeah, we got there eventually. Okay, moving into the board, Teferi Time Raveler. So gotta make sure there's a plan for that. So I'm not boarding out the Ottawaras and swapping for Besejus. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna board out City of Traders. I think that this is gonna go longer. I think that this game is gonna go longer, so our kind of the downside of our tapped lands are not going to matter as much. And the downside of City of Traders is going to matter more in the long run. So I think that I'm happy with cutting City of Traders for Beseju. We're not cutting any colored sources or anything like that. And calling that good. I think that I'm pretty okay with that plan. Feel free to tell me about it in the comments or in chat, right? Cool, but I don't actually have creative technique. I don't have double green. This is a mulligan. This is a very clear mulligan. Yep. This one though, pretty okay. Got the red. Creative technique is okay. I don't have blue for an Ottawara if I draw that. And this is going to go off on turn 4, and they're going to have the ability to deploy a Teferi by then. I'm gonna keep this, and we'll see what happens. Island go, not even a ponder. Okay, Ancient Tomb allows me to now just go for it on turn 3. Something tells me Island, no cantrip, Prismatic Vista, no cantrip. This screams of Teferi. So what am I going to do? I think that it's going to be just pass until I can draw a blue source and an auto aura. Land. Man, they're fetching. Okay. So this is a Teferi, likely. I can't imagine that this isn't a Teferi, right? They kept a 7. Did they keep a 7? No, they mulliganed to 6. Okay. Blood Moon. That's okay. That's not a problem. It's going to take us longer to get to the creative technique, but that is just fine. Okay. What are we doing here? There's the Teferi. Okay. Now I can't actually cast or channel auto aura, so I'll concede. Oh well. I guess they sequenced that fairly well. Actually perfectly, because I couldn't untap and go off in the face of the Blood Moon. Even though Blood Moon doesn't really do much against us, other than shutting off the fact that I can't make blue to bounce the auto or to bounce the Teferi with auto aura. Okay, so that was excellent sequencing from our opponent. Okay, I think that I'm good with this. I don't think that I'm gonna do the whole Throes of Chaos Tybalt's trickery. I'm gonna just submit. And I will keep this. So we get to play underneath the Teferi. Land, land, land. We'll make 3 land drops, and they'll make 2 land drops, and then we can creative technique and demonstrate it to play around counter magic. So we're good to go. Play the Sandstone Needle. Other than the Blood Moon, I'm not worried about Wasteland, right? So we can just play out the lands that make the most sense. Ponder. And we draw another land. Let's play the Hickory Woodlot. Maybe we'll draw a Sweet Gum Recluse. Brainstorm. Ooh. I wonder if they have... Okay, so their Ponder chose to shuffle. I should have looked at that and told you about that earlier. But, This Brainstorm is going to be important for them, and then their next turn. They have 10 cards that they're looking at right now. This creative technique might not get there. But, you know, if we find a blue source, we can cast the Maelstrom Wanderer. And even if they have a Teferi, it's still a 7/5 with haste. We can destroy the Teferi really quickly, get out from under that thumb, and then we still have a 7/5 that they need to worry about. So, and then any Cascade or creative technique restarts the chain. So we'll see what happens. The depletion lands are going to help because I don't have to sacrifice them, right? I get 2 fires with them. Boarding party. Is it better? It's probably just better to creative technique. Yeah, it's better to creative technique. Okay. We're going to demonstrate. And they get Wandering Emperor. Okay. And then we get... Ooh. Do they have Flusterstorm? Can't really do much about a Flusterstorm. Okay, they have a Flusterstorm. And they can activate the Wandering Emperor. That's wild. However, I think that we can pay for a Flusterstorm. We can pay for one of them. Yeah, we can pay for the last one. So that one's countering the second one. That one's countering the second one. That one's countering the first one. So, nope. And then, no. And then, yes. So we get this creative technique. Oh, we get a Maelstrom Wanderer. Okay. And a Sweet Gum. And a creative technique. We are not going to demonstrate this one. We get a Sakashima's Protege. And, oh, I should have just yielded that. Okay. Creative technique. No demonstrate. Oh, were we out of creative techniques? No. Huh, there's an Emrakul. How about that? Yeah, okay. That looks great. Put it on the board. We're 3-1. We defeated a Flusterstorm by being able to pay for it. That was great. That is definitely the reason why we weren't going to be playing Boarding Party, to play around Flusterstorm. I was thinking that we could just refire with a Boarding Party later on, but that was pretty good. That was a very good Flusterstorm defeat that I totally thought about beforehand. All right. Well, we got one more round to go. We are absolutely cruising through this league. If you actually are enjoying this content, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can engage. I told you about becoming a YouTube member. There's still other ways that you can support us by liking the content, commenting on the video, subscribing to our YouTube channel, even if you're not a member. Just a lot of ways to throw your support our way. Yeah. And if you see us in paper, give us a shout out. Tell us how we're doing. I love seeing people that have recognized me. It's a little weird still, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. While we queue up, let's talk about it.
You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us.
Okay, so Alex, yes, I did play around Force of Will and Days. The Days was not something that I was particularly concerned about. That I was a controlling blue deck, not a tempo blue deck, you know, with the Teferis and the Blood Moons and things. They're not likely to be playing Days. I didn't feel the need to play around Days specifically, but I also thought that just like starting off with a creative technique made a lot of sense to me to maximize the opportunities for that turn. But yeah, maybe that was an incomplete thought before I actually started comboing. It ended up working out perfectly though. So here we are for the final round. We're up against Clan and we won the die roll. That's excellent. And we've got lands and a creative technique. I'm going to keep this. We don't know what our opponent is doing. We're going to find out. It's also less likely to fizzle. Yes, that's true. Plus, the Cascader can function well if they untap and Teferi, where the creative technique can't. So if they Teferi, then I still have that boarding party that can haste attack the Teferi, even if the Cascade doesn't do anything. So that was also something that could happen. Okay, Sappers and Scary. We are Paradigm Shift, right? That's totally what we're doing right now. Okay, so I did lie, I suppose. Sappers and Scary sees play in Paradigm Shift combo, which honestly is again a niche combo deck of Legacy format, but ooh. Another Underground Sea deck. That was our loss earlier. I wonder if we can come back and win it. There's a lot of Underground Seas going around in Legacy right now. It is, again, the best duel to be playing. Another Sandstone Needle. and we'll see what happens. Okay, they can be playing Wasteland. They chose not to shuffle their Ponder. If they're playing Wasteland, they're not. They're not going to Wasteland me. Okay. What are we doing here? Dark Ritual. Are we playing Doomsday? We are playing Doomsday. Are we dead right now? We could be. We are at the races. They have a turn 2 potential win. They have 3 other cards in hand. And I'm going to untap into a turn 3 potential win. Doomsday is a little faster than us. Yes, Jason. For sure. We cannot go off until turn 3 at the earliest, and they can win on turn 1. So. Let's see what kind of flavor they're playing. Are they playing the Veil of Summers list? They are not. This brainstorm is going to allow them to... Oh, they're playing the One Ring. And... Okay. Yeah, so they're going to cycle, sack the Lion's Eye Diamond, draw into the Consider, cast Consider, bin whatever, and then draw a cycler, cycle into the Thassa's Oracle. Okay, cool. They could win on a Demonstrate putting Oracle into play. That is... Well, if they've already Doomsdayed, yes. Okay, what am I going to do here? I need to bring in Tybalt's Trickery and Throes of Chaos. I need to be quicker, right? Throes of Chaos allows me to go off on turn 2, potentially, cascading into a Tybalt's Trickery, which then can hit either another Throes of Chaos or any of these spells. So that's what's going to happen, and we're going to do the whole get rid of the green... Get rid of the green and call that good. I don't think that I need to be... Oh, well, I could Besage you. Instead of Otawara. Otawara does next to nothing. And Besage you does have text here. They are a potentially 8 force deck. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, the name of the game is speed. We got to go fast, fast, fast. And, oh man, we're missing a red source. This would have been a turn 2 if this Saprison Scary was a Dwarven Mine or something like that. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan this one. We don't have a red source at all. And this... is a turn 4 because this Besage you. I think I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put back the boarding party. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I have to keep this one. We can draw into an Ancient Tomb and have a turn 3. Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, Crystal Vein, anything like that. But as it stands, we're going to need a little bit of help. They are a Thoughtseize deck. Oh, they're just turn 1ing us. Okay. Well, that is not something that we can beat, regardless of how fast we are. We would need them to pass the turn, which, admittedly, they very well might do, and have had an untapped Soul Land with the Throes of Chaos. So, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they build a slow pile, and maybe they fizzle, and maybe they build their pile wrong. But we'll see. I don't know. Underground Sea decks. Who knew? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I'm being facetious. I am very tongue-in-cheek suggesting that they make poor decisions that Doomsday players would not do in this situation. They have shown themselves to be a very competent Doomsday pilot. I'm not going to be too concerned with them making mistakes. Okay. What did they board in against me? Force of negation. Makes sense. Okay, so they have a pass the turn pile, but we can't really do anything about it. We're holding up Tybalt's trickery. Yeah, you got it right, Alex. Oh, and we drew the crystal vein. Okay. No, they're not necessarily beating that. They've got their cavern gone, so we could Tybalt's trickery something here. I don't know. This would be really cheeky if we get there. I'm gonna... Oh, no. Okay. Well, we're gonna make them mill, and if they stacked their pile wrong, then we might be able to get there. No, they just had the force of will. Okay. It could have been really fun. What do they pitch? Personal tutor. Okay. And a brainstorm. Okay. Yeah, we are in fact deceased. They can do the thing. But it would have been really cool if we got to make them mill all of their cards. Okay. So they had everything they wanted. Turn 1 Doomsday with Force of Will backup and a Thoughtseize. Okay, so we got a 3-2. That's not too bad. I think that's pretty fair for what this deck is doing, right? We lost to the Thoughtseize decks. In fact, that turn, obviously they had the Force of Will. I get that. But, you know, we had the opportunities to Tybalt's trickery them. Sorry, my cat is climbing on my lights and knocking things over. Okay, so we had the opportunity to do things, but didn't end up getting there. But this deck was pretty fun. It's not my thing, right? I like a little bit more meat on the bones of my combo deck, making a little bit more decisions as opposed to just putting a spell on the stack and just auto-yielding all. You know, it is what it is, but it's not a bad deck. That's not a thing at all. You know, I have to struggle for my wins, and this thing just hands them to you. So pretty good. We're gonna open up this chest and we're gonna see what's in it. And we got a Vesuvan Drifter. Okay, that is a playable Magic the Gathering card. And then a Junji the Midnight Sky, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Dragon, and pretty cool. A couple of play points, that really doesn't matter, but we earned our play points back, so that was nice. Yes, it is Kitty. I will bring Kitty over. Kitty. Oh, Kitty has a face that does not like the green screen. That's okay. Kitty is getting restless, and I bet you are too. So it's time to do whatever else you want to do for your day, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Remember, Thursday mornings, or whatever time zone you're in, about 12 hours before the stream starts, there's a YouTube community poll that you can just go to the Epic Storm YouTube and vote for what you want to see me play next. We had some really close races. It was either this Creative Technique or Vintage Cube. Vintage Cube is going to be back on the poll because I know that you guys are really excited about that, and I was too. But Creative Technique beat it by 1 vote. So you guys got to get in there. Your votes matter in this poll. And let's just close it out right now, and I will see you on Thursday.